The local Council of Women of Halifax is an organisation in Halifax, Nova Scotia devoted to improving the lives of women and children. One of the most significant achievements of the LCWH was its 24-year struggle for women's right to vote. The core of the well-trained and progressive leadership was 5 women: Annalyn Owens, Edith Archibald, Eliza Ritchie, Agnes Dennis and May Sexton. Halifax businessman George Henry Wright left his home in his will to the LCWH, which the organisation received after he died in the Titanic. Historical context: in 1851, women were excluded from the vote in Nova Scotia. In 1870, Hannah Norris began to mobilize women into the public sphere through establishing the Woman's Baptist Missionary Aid Society across the Maritimes. Following Frances Willard's visit to Halifax in 1878, Nova Scotia women organized local unions and a provincial women's Christian temperance union. In 1884, the WCTU successfully lobbied for married women's property legislation. In 1891, the WCTU officially endorsed the suffrage cause, the first major women's organization to support women's suffrage. Edith Archibald became the leader of the maritime chapter of the WCTU the following year. 2 years later, in 1893, Edith Archibald and others made the first official attempt to have a suffrage bill for women property holders passed in Nova Scotia. The bill was passed by the legislature, but quashed by Attorney General James Wilberforce Longley. Suffrage. The year following the defeat of the first suffrage bill, the local council was established in 1894 as the local chapter of the National Council of Women of Canada. On August 30, 1894, the Executive Committee met for the first time at Government House, Emma McIntosh serving as the first president. Annalyn Owens was the secretary. Enfranchisement was the issue. Between 1892 and 1895, 34 suffrage petitions were presented to the Nova Scotia legislature, and 6 suffrage bills were introduced, the final one in 1897. In June 1897, the annual meeting of the National Council was convened in Halifax, where presentations were made by Lady Aberdeen and American suffragist May Wright Sewell. On June 11, 1914, the Suffrage Club was established at Wright's home to work on granting women the right to vote throughout the province. On the 22nd of February 1917, the LCWH presented a suffrage petition endorsed by 41 women's organizations. When the Liberal Premier ignored the issue, irate members introduced a private member bill. Its defeat marked the birth of the Nova Scotia Equal Franchise League in the spring of 1917. On April 26, 1918, with the support of Premier George Henry Murray, the Assembly passed the Nova Scotia Franchise Act, which gives women the right to vote in Nova Scotia's provincial elections, the first province to do so in Atlantic Canada. Other contributions. The members of the LCWH established the following organizations: Victoria School of Art and Design, Art Gallery of Nova Scotia, Nova Scotia Red Cross, Children's Hospital, Halifax, Dalhousie Alumni Association, Forest Hall, Dalhousie's first residence for women, Halifax Victorian Order of Nurses, Dalhousie Review, Ladies Musical Club of Halifax, Halifax Playground Commission, Pioneer Book Club, Shakespeare Club, Official Employment Bureau, School of Domestic Science, Women's Welcome Hostel, Anti-Tuberculosis League, Nova Scotia 5, Annalyn Owens, Edith Archibald, Eliza Ritchie, Agnes Dennis, May Sexton. Other members: Laura Borden, wife of Prime Minister Robert Borden, Charlotte McInnes, Mary Walcott Ritchie,